And all the scene work that helps in that way, no? Because people will be, of course they will be listening to the music, but the eyes, no? It's just the images are so strong, right? And with movement and when the singers are singing, you have the stereo effect, because if they're on the back, the voice comes from the back, and if you're on the foreground, it comes. So you have all of this three-dimensional atmosphere, which you don't have when you're just listening.
Hello, Marcelo.
Hello, Petra.
How are you?
Are you listening to me well?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Great. I have a kitchen behind me, not some books.
That's fine.
Well, it's kind of the best place in the apartment always for me.
Oh, yeah, no, for me as well. And it's a beautiful kitchen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a temporary place.
Oh, I see. Well, I actually said just this weekend to two of my children, I said that actually the kitchen in the house is always for me the best place.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
somehow the energy is just different.
I love it there. Yeah, so great that you are there. But it was, I mean, we spoke last when you were still in lockdown, and now you are back in Berlin.
Yes. Well, right now I'm actually in Salzburg. For this festival.
Yeah.
But I'm back. But I live in Berlin, no? So I came back to Berlin. It was in March. I think we spoke in March. February or March. Yes, I was in Rio at the time.
That's right.
Yeah, seeing my parents, which I haven't seen for quite a long time. And then I came back to Berlin in April, and then it took a while until things got back. And then now, finally, after 1.5 years, I got to do some conducting again, which is really good.
Really? And how does it feel? Is it good to be back?
Yes, it's really good. It's really good. The first bars, they're kind of, oh, is this really? Oh yes. Oh, I still remember. Slowly things come back, and you're, oh, okay, it's all there, because I think that's the fear of every musician, to be like, oh my God, is this still gonna work? No? But well, it's going fine. It's going really good.
Oh, that's great. But is it, everybody says that the first time back was so exciting. Was it for you as well?
Yes, for me was as well. Oh, I'm in a kind of a safe atmosphere, so to speak, because we are part of a sort of a conductors academy. So we are 5 conductors, having lessons from and mentoring from Peter Rundell, which is an amazing conductor, especially in the modern and contemporary music. So the first bars conducting, I had someone watching, and then it wasn't the first time for me. It was not like already in the front of a big orchestra. So it was just pianists, some singers working on the opera, and now and slowly, then we're getting more people together. But it was really, really good. So of course to be back and do what we want to. No?
But tell me about this program that you're doing.
Yes.
With the 5.
Yes, this is the festival is called Taschenopernfestival. And it's a festival that happens every 2 years, and I think it's been going on since 2005, if I'm not wrong. So it's been quite a while already. The director is Thierry Bruell, and the music director is Peter Rundell. And since 2019, they started a Conductors Academy, and this is the 2nd edition. And what is different about this academy is that, we spent a long time with them. I got here, it was middle of August, and we're leaving by the beginning of October after the concerts. And we have only new pieces, only premieres, which is really nice. From established composers, this year we have a piece by Iris der Schiphost, a piece by Wolfgang Mitterer, a piece by Zeynep Gizidioglu, and Fabio Nida. And all pieces are dealing with the theme of Undine, with this old saying of Friedrich de la Motte Fouquet, this kind of Meerjungfrau, and how do you say in English? I always forget. A mermaid, no? The mermaid.
Oh,
Kind
yeah.
of the mermaid theme, yes.
Yeah.
And actually the text, which is the basis, so to speak, for the festival, is the text by Ingeborg Bachmann, Undine geht, which is a very strong text. And so that's it. They commissioned these 4 operas, 4 short operas. They're about 20 minutes each, and they will build the whole concert as a kind of a 4 acts. No?
Yeah.
And then the idea is that every conductor, we get to premiere one of these pieces. No?
Oh, okay.
So this is really nice. So we do get our hands in the work now, not just taking the lessons, which are very important, but also really working with the musicians, and we have some very good singers and soloists. So it's a very good opportunity.
So are these now more modern operas?
Yes,
contemporary. Contemporary operas. Yeah.
Yes.
And the music, is it also very contemporary music?
Yes, I mean, they have all the 4 composers. They're all 4 different languages, we can almost say. 2 of them uses some electronic resources with them. So some things you have to play on the laptop, some sampling. And the piece by Taschenopernfestival, there's an actress. So it's a special challenge because she doesn't read music, but she has to be sort of in time with her spoken text. So we have to be the whole time very aware. Oh, it's you, you know? But she doesn't read music, so it's the different thing. And one of the piece by Zeynep Gezitklioglu, which is the youngest composer from all of them. I think she was born by the end of the 70s. It's a piece that uses lots of breathing as sort of building melodies out of breathing. So with breathing in and breathing out, this kind of sounds. But with everyone doing together, it is a very interesting effect. And the piece by Fabio Nieder, for instance, he has a Stummrolle, is a role played by someone who doesn't sing actually, but he wants to sing the whole time.
Oh yeah.
So he spends like 50 minutes of the opera trying to say something, but he can't. He has to kind of imitate some singing, but he doesn't. He gets to use his real voice for maybe 2 bars, and then it's an interesting role because then he realized, oh my God, I can't actually sing. Then he gets back to being mute again. So they're all very theatrical, which is of course it's Musiktheater, no? So it's something that is intended, but they are not, so to speak. They have their tonal moments as well, and it's not only the idea of contemporary music of being maybe weird, maybe no, it's you can, I think, especially as is the theater together, you can really relate very quickly, and it's very direct, the messages. So really great jobs.
Well, I actually spoke to a baritone yesterday, and we talked about this we talked actually about old classic operas being made, new story. No, I say new story, but more say made to the present time or changed to the present time, and that audiences are not always very eager for that. And now I think when you say things like this, and it's interesting things that you say, that with this breathing, I would love to hear that. That must be very interesting to have that. But how are these really contemporary operas with things like that you say that it might look a bit weird, or it might be perceived as different? How are they received?
Well, when I think of contemporary music or modern music, or these sounds that are not on the Pratica Comune, or the sounds of the classical and romantic, I always think about on this, or how the cinema used some of the sounds, like for instance Stanley Kubrick using Ligeti and those things. So when you have an image related to the sounds, I think it's a very different kind of perception. It's totally different if you're just hearing maybe Stockhausen at home in your Spotify.
Yeah.
And if you go to the concert and then you have the visual, and of course we are talking about nowadays in our society with everything is very fast and it's getting even faster now. And the Instagram is like 5 seconds and that's it, and all those things. And that's a challenge to keep the attention. But I think the theatrical aspect of it really helps to understand, I mean, so that these kinds of weird sounds, let's put it like that, or different sounds, that they're not just something, they're just not to be different, but they have a something, kind of a message, something to say with that. And all the scene work that helps in that way, because people will be, of course they will be listening to the music, but the eyes, it's just the images are so strong, right? And with movement, and when the singers are singing, you have the stereo effect, because if they're on the back, the voice comes from the back, and if you're on the foreground, it comes. So you have all of this three-dimensional atmosphere, which you don't have when you're just listening. And so that's one thing that I think. And then on the other hand, of course, we're talking about 4 operas of about 15 to 20 minutes. Each one of them is 25, but the whole evening might take 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours with break. I think it's manageable. So I think it's something that, of course, the audience for those kind of concerts, maybe it's a sort of an audience that they're looking for something different. No? This is for sure. But on the other hand, also we have to know that there are people there who are living in 2021 after a pandemic. And then that's the world how it is. And then you can't just think that we are on the 20s where everything was different. And
but like somebody said that some of these old composers, they were in their time, were they seen as contemporary, and they were seen, some of these operas were not acceptable because it was too new, and it was the idea of the concepts were too new, but now we see it as classic and wonderful. So it's that sort of I think it's always the artist educating the public,
Yes,
I think you have to sort of give a little, just a little bit at a time, so to get used to.
Because also when you talk about the music from the 19th century, we're talking about the music that we know and that is already filtered through time. So in a sense that right now, where we're playing what we've been played right now, I'm not sure in 100 years which of these composers will still be played and which of them will be forgotten. And just remind me now, I had a friend who showed me a version for Tristan and Isolde in a pocket setting. So it takes 1 hour. There's one narrator, there's one singer, and a chamber ensemble. So it's 1 hour, you have Tristan Isolde, that's it.
Really?
And I found this quite interesting. I mean, some purists might say, oh my God, they just destroyed the work of Wagner. But on the other hand, I mean, you have the meaning, if it's well done, it's, we have to be flexible, I guess. I don't think the old rules are still valid.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine spend 4 or 5 hours in a concert hall for an opera of Wagner? I mean, of course, it's amazing, but it's not only that.
Yeah, and I think maybe also I have this idea as if a younger audience or younger people have to also be introduced into the world of opera in a different way than it used to be, because it's also now we have, previously we didn't have social media, we didn't have all these visual things, and for younger audiences, there are, I think, the stimulation for them is so much different than, say, for instance, when I was a child. So for me, just to be able to see orchestra play already was such a great thing. But then we didn't have all this social media where you can see it every day and where you can sort of, so I think it's that way of reaching younger audiences as well.
Yes, this challenge about getting younger audiences. This is, I mean, something that's kind of was always there, but of course, I mean, even when I compare to myself for 10 years ago, it was very difficult to find maybe a video of, I don't know, Furtwängler conducting or something like that, because it was, oh my God, you have to have this DVD and maybe someone. Nowadays, you just go to YouTube, you're gonna have all the recordings, all the content you can imagine. And this is just now the work right now is not so much more to gather the information, but is to filter the information.
Exactly, yeah.
And this is very, very difficult as well. It's not something very easy, because you just have such a boom of all the everything, and then how do I start? And the younger audience, it's I don't know if I still have a really clear idea of how to get them, because they also change with the time. Like I was the younger audience not more than 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I was 18, 20 years old. And now the 18 and 20 years old, they are in a other now I cringe for them. There was this this last thing about this. So and I think it goes even faster now. Every generation just goes even faster. I have this feeling. So I must say that things for children are maybe even more interesting than for younger, like teenagers, because children, they're very open. They're much more open for new things, and they still don't have all this. Oh, this is boring. Oh, this is something that my parents would like or something.
Yeah,
they just want this input, no? And with the theater, this is something that's, I mean, it's really direct. So I don't know. I think if on the one hand, it's something that we have to be eager about. We have to want to do it, not just to be, oh, we have to play for the audience who pays all the tickets and just everything we know. But I really think about just putting the children in there, because they're 5, 6, 7 years old. Oh, this instrument is so nice, and the singing and they don't care if it's Mozart or if it's some contemporary composer. It's music, it's theater. Either they like or they don't like.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it's this is what I'm very passionate about, and that is to get to reach children with art but what I found myself as well, as somebody who, I mean, I didn't study music or any form of art really, and I was very much also had my ideas of what I liked, but the more I started speaking to artists and the more I started seeing what they do and hearing, and also hearing different perspective of or why they did certain things, or why somebody composed a specific music or so. It changed my taste also, it changed what I was starting to be interested in. And this also made me think this idea that you discuss it, and that you discuss the music and discuss the projects. These discussions makes it very much that you start getting inquisitive about, but what is it about? So for instance, you have now spoken about this breathing, and that was incorporated. Now, for me, I would now so love to see it or to hear it, and I think sometimes it's this that there's not enough spoken or told, or stories told or talked about the art, rather than just presenting it, and that there's more of an understanding. And I think this is where you get to younger audiences, you know, where they are already at that stage where they can reason. And if you then talk and then explain and then introduce and educate, I think that's where you start reaching them, because that's how they would then start being inquisitive. Whereas I think younger children, it's just, you know, like you say, showing them the instrument or hearing, let them hear or let them experience it, and they from there on. So I think that is probably, I don't know. I just try and figure it out in my head as I go along. So,
but it makes you're right. I think it makes total sense, no?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think there's some resistance from some composers or some not only composers, performance as well, that everything they have to say is with their music. Well, not always, no. Sometimes you do. I mean, even for us, if I think as a conductor, no, as a contemporary music, you always have 3-4 pages explaining all the signs that you're using in the piece.
Really?
Whereas if you take a music from the 19th century, for instance, it's just the score there, and it's already. So it's a new language being developed the whole time. And if we don't talk about this language being developed, as you can just take into account that people will understand by themselves. I think that's what you're saying, and and I agree with that. But I think there's really a lot of resistance, no? And composers that they have also this kind of very alone thing, which might be kind of a cliche. Because we're in a world where, you know, to be alone today is something that you really to push for it, because you're just connected to the time. There's not such a thing as being really alone anymore. It's very difficult. And on the other sense, like, you're connected but you're also lonely. But this is another story. But I totally understand what you mean. I mean, it would be wonderful if I would for me as well, if I would hear from these composers what they would have to say for this piece. And it's because, I mean, the score it's not as perfect as we think it is, as we'd like to be. There are many things in between the lines, no? And this I'm talking from the musician side. So if we imagine someone who's not a musician, who wants to, you know, to experience something new, if they just throw this, okay, this is new, you have to like this, without it's much more difficult, no? You're right.
Yeah, no, definitely. So do you so this is it, do you call it a master class really that you are doing at the moment? Is it a type of a master class, or is it?
It's kind of a master class would be normally maybe shorter. And you don't have as much as autonomy, because right now, for instance, Peter is not in Salzburg. So with the conductors, we are rehearsing with the singers. So we have more almost kind of an assistant conductor thing, where you take some decisions, because he's just not there. Now, of course, we speak with him and we have contact with him, and it also takes a much longer time. So they call it maybe an academy. A master class maybe is normally a couple of days. But in a sense, it is an educational program. So that's for sure. Yes.
And you go through the whole process from the rehearsals right through to the premiere.
Exactly. We start with the scene rehearsals, just with the singers and a co-repetitor, and then we went to the stage. Now we're on the stage, and then next week we have the ensemble together. Then in the theater, and then it comes the premieres. Yes.
And now, what is next for you then after this?
Well, my things next year, actually. Hopefully some dates in Brazil. And yes, and I'm also looking forward to doing more with the silent movie things that I was doing a lot before the pandemic. And because the 20s, this is something very interesting. If you think about it, silent movies are being nowadays, like, they're already kind of part of the repertoire of some orchestras.
Yeah.
They play the silent movie with live music. And this next 10 years is 100 years of many classics from the 20s.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reason to celebrate this golden era, so to speak, of the silent movies, where there were also great music made for it. So this is something that I'm looking forward to do, also new arrangements for some movies. And this is
I didn't know. I didn't know you do that, and this is so interesting. So
yes,
do you arrange the music for these movies?
Yes, I did a couple movies. I did, for instance, but some of them I did with the original music, and I reorchestrated because it was lost. For instance, for Nosferatu, the famous, the first vampire movie in the history. And for Nosferatu, I reorchestrated the original score and presented it in São Paulo and in Berlin. And I did, just before the pandemic, was then 100 years of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And then I also made a new score for that, but also using, then in this case, I was using the technique they used to use in the 20s, which is they had a kind of a book with many different themes. And all these themes, they were different moods, like happy, sad, concerned, all of them. And then the work is to watch the movie and think about the scenes and what matches. And there was a famous composer called Giuseppe Becci in the 20s. He was in Berlin, actually, conducting one of the big silent movie orchestras in Berlin at the time. And he composed the original music for Caligari. And this music is also lost.
Really?
But we still have the themes. So I could work with the themes that were already, were still available. But you can't be 100% sure which themes were where. But it's just a new interpretation for the film. But it's something that people love. This is very interesting.
I've never seen that. So they actually do that. They show the movie on the screen, and you are in the pit, and you are playing.
Conducting the orchestra, exactly. And we have to be synchronized with the movie.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh, I would love to see that. And they do that in Berlin.
Yes, I was before. Now I'm not there anymore. But I was before the pandemic. I was the music director of the only orchestra in a cinema there was in Germany, which is in the Babylon. And I was conducting there. I did more than 60 concerts of silent movies. Lots of Metropolis, of course, Nosferatu, Caligari, Berlin's Symphony of a Big City, which is a documentary with a very crazy music, very interesting music. And also by Shostakovich, we did one movie which Shostakovich did the original score for it, called The New Babylon. So there are a lot of material, and it's something that kind of unites, they're also doing Harry Potter and all the new stuff as well with orchestra, because it's unites both worlds. People want to see the big screen and the live music. It's just that with the silent movie, it was how it was. It is how it was. So with the live, there was no sound, so they were playing live.
But then, if they do the Harry Potter films, do they do sound with it? Just not the music. The dialogue is there.
Exactly, the dialogues, and then the conductor has a small monitor in front of him, and this monitor is showing the tempo. It's very interesting, and so that you have to be 100% synchronized. And in silent movies, of course, this wasn't the practice. You just had a score and the movie, and then you look at the movie and you know where you are, or you're supposed to. And I had many musicians from the opera houses in Berlin, because they love to play in the movie because it was kind of an opera. They have to pay attention to the conductor the whole time. You can't just really relax, because the tempo is there. The film, the movie is the same. But we're not the same every day, and I'm not a machine. So if you just conduct slightly faster, then I know, okay, I'm slightly faster. I have to wait a little bit longer in the end. If the musicians aren't with me, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So But I did this in São Paulo, in Rio, and some other cities in Brazil a couple of times, and it was sold out every time.
Really?
Sold out. I mean, not only really sold out, because it's just something that you don't see every day.
No.
And you get the audience, from the movie audience, the movie enthusiasts, people who love silent movie, and also the people who love music. So it's an interesting thing.
Oh, that is amazing. I would really love to see that, because
Yes,
I think, yeah. I think the music also, it brings that mood in it, but the old movies, they run very fast. So do you also play them very fast, or do they?
The movies?
Yeah, you know, the movies, it always looks as if everybody's moving very fast.
Sometimes, yes. Well, this is sometimes, because actually when it's going too fast, that's because it's wrongly, it was wrongly played, because in the 20s, the number of frames in a second was different from today. So if you had, I don't remember, to be honest, I don't know how many frames it was, and maybe I think it was 24 frames per second. And nowadays, I think we work with 31 or 32,
I see,
something like that. So which means that if we play these old movies in the speeds that we play today, they all look very weird with this very fast movement. So, but actually, with the copies we worked, it looked real.
Not I see. Always okay.
Very fast. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But I hope you can continue doing that, because I think this is a great. It's a great.
Yes,
idea.
It's something. Yes, it's something that I'm keen on keep doing it, and let you know, of course, when the first silent movie for me comes up again.
Yes,
definitely.
Please, yeah, because there are not many conductors doing this. I mean, it's the first time I've heard about this.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know some. Of course,
you do.
But,
okay. Yeah.
But you're right, because some of them, because the thing about being synchronized with the movie is not that simple, and I'm not saying that it's also not a rocket science, but it's just that you're not that free. You know.
Okay.
I mean, if you're conducting a symphony and maybe at this day you took slightly slower, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It can also sound very nice. But with the movie, you don't have this freedom.
Yeah.
So some people maybe just don't want to do it. But as I said, I mean, this is really becoming a traditional repertoire for some orchestra, where they at least once a year, twice a year, they're doing some silent movie.
Do that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, I spoke to a conductor who conducts ballets, and we spoke about this timing thing and this. So I can understand now that you say that there's no flexibility there. It's like you really have to know and to be on time with that.
Yes, and I think ballets are even more difficult, because there are people dancing. So if you take in a different speed, I mean, it's not that in a silent movie, if I take it too fast, at the end of the scene, I mean, some scenes, they're not like Mickey Mouse, where you have like those pa-boom and everything really, really synchronized. It's just, it's the main atmosphere. So I can just wait a bit longer at the end and then keep going. It's totally fine. It's musical and it's no problem. But with a ballet, if you take it too fast, it's already too fast from the beginning. And if you try to slow down in the middle, then it can be worse. But ballets, I have a huge respect from ballet conductors, because it's very difficult.
Have you done ballet conducting?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But that's something that I would love to, especially because of this. I love this thing of coordinating many things, and paying attention how they're dancing, and this would be amazing.
Wow, this is so great to hear about this silent movie thing. But I want to know from you now. I ask all the artists, what do you do on the day of a performance? Do you have a specific ritual? What do you do before a performance?
I try to, I mean, the basic, try to sleep well, and all these things. But I don't eat much on the day of the concert. I might have a light breakfast and that's it. And I just don't eat anything until after the concert. And if the concert starts at 8, maybe, so about at 2 or 3 o'clock, I kind of start, then I realize that my head starts really thinking about the concert which is going on. So I just try to relax and maybe sleep. I love to sleep on the, like, just have a nap, half an hour, 1 hour in the afternoon. And sometimes I listen to some Brazilian music.
Really?
Just to,
Yeah.
yes, like take a long shower and just relax and enjoy the day, because it's this is all the work is for, no? It's for having the concert. So I used to get very, very I wouldn't say stressed, but very concentrated in a way that it was kind of annoying me, because it was just too much. There was the whole day very, very oh my God, is everything going to be okay? And I kind of, but then with the time, I think we get used to it, no? And then we realize, okay, it's it can't be a disaster, and if it is, well, that's life.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, we are prepared, we try our best, and so there's no big rituals, but I just try to, I love to take a nap, a good shower, and I don't eat much, almost nothing. And no coffees, just a coffee in the morning, just a little espresso in the morning, that's fine. Otherwise, it's just shaking too much, and then no.
Well, it's for a Brazilian not to drink coffee.
Yes, I love coffee in the morning. That's enough. Yeah. 1 cup in the morning, that's fine.
And then afterwards, are you a beer man or a wine? What do you do after the concert?
Oh, I love both.
I really
like both. I love beer, but I really also enjoy a good wine. Okay. And even a bad wine, I also enjoy it. I mean, just kidding. But nowadays I'm drinking more beers.
More beer, okay.
Just one beer, and that's it.
Just to and like a meal. Do you have a meal after the concert? And
yes, but then it's free. Then it depends. If everyone is going to a pizzeria, just go with them. Oh, yeah. If I'm just going home, I might even cook something only for me. That's totally fine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no big special requests.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and then now your outfit. Do you wear a frock, or do you have a specific conducting outfit?
Well, I was wearing just a kind of a tuxedo, no? with a tie and a vest, which is I thought kind of matched the 20th atmosphere with the cinema and with the silent movie thing,
Yeah.
And but for this, it's something that I always forget about it, and then it comes the concert, and I was like, oh, I didn't really think about it.
Oh, okay.
But for this conference, for instance, with the contemporary troupe, I would just wear something black and sort of no. I've never wear a frack actually, so I don't even know how I look with a frack.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you just relax and more. You like it more relaxed or more comfortable?
Yes, I mean the tuxedo was already kind of formal enough for me, with the vest and with the tie,
Yeah.
And yes, and on the other hand, I mean, it's nice to have some freedom on the movement.
Yeah.
And so when that's the funny thing. Like when I have one black shirt, which is just a regular shirt, but it's somehow this shirt is really good with moving. It's really it's loose where it's supposed to be, and it's a regular black shirt, but it works really well for my body. So yes, but it's funny because with a frock, but I don't know if you have it tailored for you, that would be amazing.
Now that you say about the shirt and that, I'm just wondering, if you go and buy a shirt in the shop, do you actually stand and conduct to see if the shirt?
Yes.
Oh, you
We do that, but we try not to do that in public. We do it in a safe, inside the
environment.
But yes, I do open the eyes. I'm like, oh, and then if you gain some weight and then start, oh my God, also the weight. So it's everything together. You have to conduct and. But yes, it's something that you have to try.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, this is so interesting, and I spoke to a few female conductors as well, and we talk about this outfit situation, So,
Hmm.
um, so maybe there's a designer out there who would specialize in conducting outfits. That would be so
Conducting
interesting.
attires, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
something that is not very common, no?
yeah,
I have looked for it a little bit for a while, long time ago, and I didn't really find it.
Mhm.
I didn't really find like somewhere. I found some place for musicians, no? I mean, in
Mm.
general, no?
Yeah,
Musicians in
yeah,
general,
yeah,
and but all the musicians we all have, also violinists, they all need a sort of a
yeah,
something comfortable, no? And not too
yeah.
hot and all those things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, the violinist that I spoke to talk about the shoes. That the shoes has to be have to be comfortable. So there are many things that we don't realize that you have to take in consideration for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Yes, the shoes. No? I mean, we conduct. We're standing, no, the whole time,
yeah, mm.
and yes, and the shoes that I used, for instance, I use only to conduct.
Oh,
I don't wear
really?
them on the street or something. Yes,
Mm.
yeah, because there's no really special reason why. I'm just thinking about it, but it's just
Okay.
something that I just thought these shoes. Maybe they might be too shiny for my taste for outside, maybe.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
but they're very comfortable, and but you realize, I mean, I've only done concerts with it, but after 1.5 years doing concert, you see how the shoes are like, okay, I have to get new shoes, and it's interesting because it's like
Really?
3 hours standing on the shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I thought, oh, this will uh, take like years until we'll be
Yeah.
like worn out. No, it doesn't, because
Oh,
you're
really?
standing and you're moving, and
Yeah.
yes, it's some
Mm.
physical activity in there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is also interesting for me, really. But Marcelo, this was so lovely to talk to you again and to hear about
Thank you,
the
Petra.
interesting things that you are doing. And yes, please let me know when you do the silent movie again.
Yes, I'll
That would
definitely
be so
let you know.
lovely to hear. Yeah. And you're going
Yes, for
back to
sure.
You're going back to Berlin after this?
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
be in Berlin
Okay.
from October on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll look at your. I saw on your Instagram you got a Apfelstrudel for, was it for breakfast
Yeah.
that you?
Was it for breakfast from my amazing landlord, no?
I
She wrote
really.
me like a WhatsApp message saying, haben Sie Lust auf einen Apfelstrudel mit
Oh,
Walnüsse und Rosinen? And I said,
oh,
no, I can't say no for that.
yeah, no, definitely. It looked delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I've never, my Instagram, it's kind of, I'm not very good in social media, but I was like, okay, I will have to post this
You
food
have
because
to know.
this is an
Absolutely.
experience. Homemade, amazing.
Exactly. No, absolutely. So,
Mhm.
but have a lovely evening, and all
Thank
the
you.
best for this academy and this project that you are doing.
Mm.
And I hope to speak to you soon. And remember, when you come to Vienna, that you let me know so we can grab a coffee.
Yes, for sure. Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Petra, for
Okay.
inviting me for this interview, and we keep in touch.
Yes, definitely. Okay,
Thank you.
Marcelo.
Bye
Bye.
bye.